Colorado's mandatory reporting law is intended to protect vulnerable populations from abuse, neglect, and exploitation. The information in this video offers a background to help in your work with victims with intellectual and developmental disabilities, how to determine whether a victim may have an IDD, the roles of service providers and ARC chapters in the lives of those with IDDs, and that victims with IDD are afforded the same rights as other victims.
How can our officers determine that a citizen is a person that may be a person that has IDD?
First of all, you could certainly ask the person, do you have an intellectual or developmental disability? When did you graduate from high school? They might say, I graduated when I was 22. Now, we know that typically people graduate when they're 18. So that likely means that they were in special ed, and special ed means that they had a reason to receive additional assistance and support. Another thing that an individual might have that is unique to being a person with a developmental disability is, hey, do you have a case manager or a resource coordinator or a rep payee?
If the answer to any of these questions is yes, the victim may have an IDD. Community-centered boards, or CCBs, are the single point of entry for long-term services, including case management, to support those with IDDs.
You're going to hear a lot about CCBs because they're the ones who are coordinating all those services that a person might need. So it's important to remember, though, that they're not open 24 hours a day.
What exactly do the ARC chapters, like the ARC of Aurora, do for people with IDD?
The ARC is really an advocacy organization that assists individuals and/or their families in getting what they need and want in their life. We're not open 24 hours a day either because we're not federally or state funded. We do assist the individual in reaching out and finding agencies or supports that they want or need. We also assist when an individual might be a victim and making sure they get the right supports. Hey Sarge, before you leave, I have a question for you. So when we're supporting victims with IDD, although we know that they have victims' rights, what rights do they actually have under the law?
Persons with IDD are just like everybody else. They are totally covered by the Colorado Victims' Rights Act. So they have access to everything that anybody else would have normally. And typically what will happen is a police department will take the report, we'll take the report. Once we get the information, we will send it off to our Victim Services Unit. Our Victim Services Unit will then give them all the resources that they need under the Victims' Rights Act.
Once again, all of these questions can help you determine whether a victim may have an IDD. Ask if the individual has an intellectual or developmental disability, graduated from high school at age 22, has a resource coordinator, case manager, or rep payee. Colorado's community-centered boards are not open 24 hours a day. Staff from Colorado's ARC chapters are also not available 24 hours a day to provide support. And victims who have an IDD are covered under the Victims' Rights Act.